This is the plaintiff, Jacob Craig Phelps. He says the defendant is his mother and she owes him for holding his items and refusing to return them to him. Mother or no mother, this is not right. These are his things. He wants them. And if he has to sue his own mother to get her to give him his things back or the money they're worth, then so be it. He's suing for $1,503, the money he's owed. This is the defendant, Michelle Phelps. She says the plaintiff, her 19-year-old son, was arrested for a DUI, so she took the car, which is in her name, away from him. He got so mad he moved out of her house immediately and told her she could do whatever she wanted with the stuff he left behind. Now he's suing her for it and for the car, which is in her name. Oh, good luck, sonny boy. She's accused of being unmotherly.
All parties, please use your right hand. Be seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor. You're welcome, ma'am.
Jacob Craig Phelps, you are suing your mother.
Yes.
For $1,500 and things that, according to you, belong to you, but she has and won't give you.
Yes.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
And you were living at home until when?
The 27th.
27th of?
Last year, December.
Of December.
Yes.
And what happened on the 27th?
I got arrested for a DUI.
Okay. And whose car were you driving?
My car, it is in her name. It was in her name for insurance and registration reasons.
Why did you say in your complaint she put the car and the insurance under her name as an abuse of power? What did you mean by that?
Because if I hadn't put it under her name, she wasn't going to let me have a car at all.
Why don't you just get your own car that you pay for yourself?
No, I did end up paying for it.
How much did you pay?
I paid $500 at the time.
How much did mommy pay for you?
$1,500.
Right. So if you don't want someone else in your business, then you go out and you make money and you move out, you get your own apartment, like everyone else does when they don't want their mother in their business anymore. So you got a DUI in the car. Was it the first DUI?
Yes.
All right. Was a car totaled?
No.
Was it hit at all?
No.
No, you were just stopped and you got a DUI. What ended up happening with that DUI?
It's still pending.
Okay. Did you blow into an intoxilizer?
Yes.
What was your blood alcohol level?
2.03, I think.
Niño. 2 point what?
03.
What's the legal limit in your state?
It's 0.08, I believe.
0.08. So we're talking almost 3 times the legal limit.
Yes.
Okay. Did you guys get into a fight after the DUI? Did your mom end up angry at you? What happened that you decided all of a sudden at that moment to move out?
It was mainly just because I kind of had a foreshadowing that this was how things were going to go.
No. What made you move out? You got arrested for a DUI. Who
Yes.
gets you out of jail?
Despite asking them not to release me to her, they released me to her anyway.
Well, you're a grown man. They don't release you to anybody. I don't know what that means. If you're a big boy, you're a big boy. You are an adult. You are of legal age. So how did you get out of jail?
They told me to go upstairs and that my mother was going to pick me up. I asked to stay, and they said, if you do stay, then we're going to have to charge you with more.
That doesn't make any sense. What more could they charge you with?
I guess trespassing.
Did you bond him out?
No, he was released to my custody for the DUI.
Okay, was there a hearing where a judge decided that?
No, he was allowed a phone call. I got a phone call at 11:44, and they said yes, that he was there, and that because he had a sober ride to come get him, that I could come and pick him up.
Oh, so you were the sober ride?
Yes.
Okay. So then what happens? What's it like in the car, the two of you, when you pick him up? Were you yelling at him? Were you fighting or anything, or no?
No.
All right. When do you find out he wants to move out?
He ended up getting rearrested that night.
Oh, for what?
It was a possession of a dangerous weapon.
What was the weapon?
A baseball bat.
What happened that night? You got arrested for what?
Going for a walk.
He came
with a baseball bat?
We live in a rural part of Connecticut, and so yes, I brought a bat along with me, which was not unusual to bring it out with me, and just in case there were bears, wildlife, anything like that.
Okay, but why would the police arrest you?
Because she had called the police on me.
Okay, let's back up. What happened? You want to talk? Who are you? You're the sister?
Yes, I was asleep when Mom woke me up because she got the call and she told me to watch the dogs.
The DUI call or the next one?
Yes, the DUI call.
Okay.
They came home and Jacob came into the house and I was back in my room with my door closed, but I heard his footsteps. I didn't know he had grabbed the bat, but he had left. I heard him close the door again. And then Mom came in and said that Jacob had left our house with a baseball bat and that she was recalling the police.
Okay, he had left the house with a baseball bat to do what? What did you think he was doing?
Being drunk, he made allegations in the car of just stupid stuff, but stupid.
Like what? No, listen.
Okay.
I'm very frustrated. I'm trying to get a story out of it, and everybody's very cagey and doesn't want to say anything. No. I want to know exactly what he said that would propel you to call the police when he went for a walk with a bat. Go ahead.
First off, I was already on the phone with the state police again because...
Why?
Because he had not gotten his phone returned or a little pocket knife that his sister had just given him for Christmas. So I was already on the phone when he left my custody and was walking down the street.
So why did you tell the police he left? Because you felt like you're supposed to have him in your custody the entire time as opposed to give him a ride? What is it that you're telling the police?
That I was asking for his phone back. I was already
Yes, I know. And then why do you tell the police he just walked out the door?
Because as he was walking down the street, he pulled a baseball bat out of the back of his thing and he started tapping it on the bridge as he was walking. And I said, oh, by the way, just so you're aware, my son just, that you released to my custody just left and he's walking away with a baseball bat. And
doing what? What was he tapping?
The bridge. We live by a bridge. He was tapping the bridge as he was walking.
Okay, let me ask you a question. Have you had these kind of problems with him before?
Not to this extent, no.
Was this out of character for him to drink this much or no?
Yes.
It is out of character.
To my knowledge, yes.
So you got the police involved again, then they arrest him that night and do what with him?
They sent the dogs to,
The dogs?
I went, after I got off the phone with the police, I went to track to see where Jacob had gone. And when I was coming back around, Officer Kinney had come back and he'd given me the phone. When I was talking to Officer Kinney at the end of our driveway, he asked about the bat. And I said, I don't know if he's intending to do harm with it, if he's intending to go vandalize
Did you
with
get arrested for the bat?
Yes.
Did you get taken back to jail?
Yes.
And then when did you get out of jail?
The next morning after having the court hearing.
And so you had the court hearing, and what were your release conditions then?
Promise to appear.
Okay, so you get out, and where do you go?
I go to live with my friend.
Okay, and is that where you're living now?
Yes.
All right, now at some point he comes back to the house to get some things. When does the discussion happen that, hey, Mom, I'm moving out? When does that happen?
It doesn't.
Has he ever moved out before?
Yeah, sort of.
Has he ever sued you before?
No.
Okay.
Excuse me.
All this happened when?
December 26th and December 27th of 2019.
Have you talked to him since then?
Not since he showed up on the January 8th of 2020.
What happened on January 8th?
That is when I was home and he got the rest of his stuff from the house.
What's everybody's game plan? Just that's it? You're never going to talk to each other again? That's the game plan? Was this a close family before this?
Yes.
Are you two close?
We were starting to get close, and then he went up to Job Corps, and then he just changed. And
What's Job Corps?
It's where you go to become, I guess, a tradesman or
Okay.
study in a trade. And
How long was he at Job Corps?
A year and a half.
Yeah, a year and a half.
According to you, since the car is in her name and she will not give it to you because you got a DUI on it, you want her to give you the $500 you put towards the car, correct?
Yes.
Yet you drove the car for how long?
6 months, 7 months,
Right,
thereabouts?
and that's supposed to cost you zero because she's your mother and she has to provide you with a ride? So no. As far as the printer's concerned, what happened to the printer? It was where? What room?
It was in the corner of the living room.
Okay, and where is the print? Oh, the printer's here?
We have the printer right here.
Okay, well, that one's taken care of. Eyeglasses, tell me about that.
So after we'd just gotten home, went to go and put them on. They were the wrong prescription. I said I'd bring them back. She just kind of snatched them and said, well, I'll go and fix it, even though I insisted that I could. All it took was going back up to the eye doctors and getting.
How would you be able to fix his eye prescription? He's got to be there, be tested again.
That is not how it went down.
How did it go down?
They both went to get their eyes checked. They got their prescriptions. She was in the room with Jacob, and I guess he was complaining in the room, even at that time, that the doctor was going too fast, and he ended up with the wrong prescription. When it came time to get the glasses and have them fitted, Alexa is the only one that came with me to get them fitted. Jacob chose not to come.
Okay, but what's the big deal? Where are the glasses?
They're right here.
Great, fabulous. Glasses are done. A DSLR camera.
Yes.
What's that?
It's,
Just basically everything you had in your 18 years you want it back? Like, what is going on?
No, these are possessions that I specifically got on my own.
All right, so the DSLR camera, what kind of camera is that?
It's fancy. It's like a Nikon.
What model of Nikon? Nikon has a lot of models.
N700, I believe.
Okay, and where did you leave it?
It was in my room.
Did you go back with your grandmother, your mother,
Yes.
to get some items?
Yes.
And did you get the camera then, or did you forget it, or what?
No, it was nowhere to be seen.
Okay, so did you mention it then? Hey, where's my camera?
I had been mentioning it for months.
Okay. All right. Well, then what makes you think she has it? If for months you're mentioning it and she's like, I don't know. Do you have the camera?
No.
Do you have the camera?
No.
Does anyone know where he lost his camera?
The last time the camera was seen was when Jacob and I lived
In a different house.
Yes.
So how is it that you are going to make her pay you to get a new camera that you lost?
That's not even when I got the camera. I got the camera while I was at Job Corps.
Okay. Again, you lost the camera. Why is it that she has to pay for the camera?
Because
If you, for months, were asking where's the camera, it's not like you got a DUI, she got mad at you, so she destroyed your camera. It's literally, your camera has been missing. It's your camera. Why does she have to pay for your camera that you lost?
because it didn't just go missing. It was, to my
What evidence do you have that
understanding.
your mother stole your camera? Do you really think your mother is going to steal your camera? Do you think your mother's a thief?
Yes.
What happened here? Literally, I need to know what happened here between you and your mother, the woman who gave you life.
I grew up in an incredibly abusive household.
How so? Abusive how?
I mean, do you want to see the crook in my nose?
So you mean physically?
Physically, emotionally, mentally. I just kind of want to get what I feel I'm owed and move on with my life.
Well, that's great if you're owed it, but you can't prove to me that somehow she's responsible for you losing your camera months ago. All right, now what's the action camera?
Like a GoPro. It's a cheaper version of a GoPro.
And when was the last time you saw that?
Also months ago when all of my camera equipment, to my understanding, was given to my younger sibling.
What makes you say that?
Because in discussions between me and Michelle, we had said on several occasions that
Are you calling your mother Michelle? Or is Michelle the sister?
the sister is Alexa.
Okay, so you're calling your mother Michelle. Go ahead.
Yes. And so Michelle and I had discussions that they were somewhere in Alexa's room
No.
and that they had to be found.
Okay, did you think they were in Alexa's room?
There was a couple of cameras that he had. It was like a Sony.
Are there any cameras here? Because you got a grab bag of goodies.
No.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
All right, were his cameras in your room?
No, Your Honor. I have my own collection of cameras that I use because I also like photography. Most of the cameras have been gifted to me through birthdays, Christmases, and stuff like that.
Let's talk about the mountain bike. On the mountain bike, when did you no longer use your mountain bike? When you went off to Job Corps?
Yes.
What'd you do with the mountain bike?
It was left at home.
Okay, in the other house. And then where's the mountain bike now? He says he wants it. Is it his? Is it?
The mountain bike is currently in my dad's work after we had moved it. And
Why'd you move it?
we didn't want anyone taking it.
Meaning him.
Yes.
Okay, but why if it's his bike?
He had given me it as a gift.
When?
I can't remember the exact year, but it was a birthday gift.
He gave you his used bike as a birthday gift?
No, he bought it new. It was a brand new.
It was never his bike?
No.
He bought you a bike?
Yes.
You
It's
guys
a
were
blue-
tight enough where he bought you a mountain bike?
Yes. It was a blue mongoose. I still have it, and it's in perfect working condition.
So why did you think he was going to try to take it if it was never his?
Because he has a habit of claiming my items as his own.
Where's Dad in all this? Is he in the picture?
Not any longer, no.
When did he stop being in the picture?
June of last year.
Now, is he in the picture in their lives?
He's in my life.
Why isn't he in his life?
Jacob has stated that he wants nothing to do with Dad.
Or mom or sister?
It's not so much that I didn't want nothing to do with my father, it's that around the age of 7, he wanted nothing to do with me.
No.
We stopped doing anything family related. I wasn't invited. I've been the outcast of this family for a while. Someone needed a scapegoat. It was me.
But she didn't lose interest in being your mother, right? She went so you could have a safe ride and get out of jail and not spend a night in jail. She tells the police that you're outside with a bat because she's worried about your safety. She didn't abandon you, yet she's the one that you're suing.
Your Honor, may I add to that? It was not at the age of 7 that my husband lost interest in having Jacob as a son. It was after Jacob sexually assaulted his sister and was arrested for that as a juvenile that my husband wanted nothing to do. Hence the reason Jacob and I had to move out of the house.
How old are you?
18 now.
Is this something that you are okay? I'm not going to discuss it with you or grill you or anything else, but are you okay with that having been said? That's
Yes.
what I mean.
I've been going to therapy and to deal with it and to help cope. It has helped, but it is still kind of a sore topic.
You, my dear, are a brave young lady to attack this head on in my courtroom. I commend you for owning the situation rather than continuing to make yourself a victim of it. You are a survivor and you're an inspiration. And I hope that you're able to heal and lead a happy and productive life. It purportedly happened how long ago?
They were 13 and 14.
Did he admit to it?
Yes.
In other words, was it, no, that's not true, she's lying all the time, you know?
No.
Did you want to respond to any of that?
The entire time I said that it was untrue. They sealed the case. There's never been any actual judgment on it.
Yes, there was.
Those are just blatant lies.
Do you have a receipt for the bike?
No, that was bought.
The Wii,
Is right here. It has all the cables, all the games, and all the controllers we could find, as long as with the connection cables, but it will not work because it is broken.
how are you supporting yourself right now?
I've been successfully holding down a job.
Do you have your own apartment?
I am renting a room.
Do you have your own room?
Yes.
Do you have any interest in a relationship with your brother? No. You're done. Do you think a relationship with your son is possible at this point?
No, I do not.
Okay.
I think this is the straw that broke the camel's back, which is sad.
It
'Cause
is.
we were the three of us were pretty close.
I'm not going to order your mother to pay you $1,503 so you can start your life. You can just start your life.
I've been doing it successfully since.
Good for you. Then go on and lead your life and don't sue your mama for stuff you had when you used to live with your mama. It seems like you've taken enough. Verdict for the defendants.
Well, in a very difficult case to hear all about, Jacob, the judge has found against you, turned you down for your request.
Yeah.
Anything you want to say about what just went on in here?
It's unfortunate. After 19 years of abuse, I thought maybe, I'd be able to get some sort of resolve for the situation. Not what I feel like was necessary, but what I actually felt physically I was owed from material possessions, because that's all that really, unfortunately a court can count.
Was it hard for you to sue your mother?
I mean, yes and no. Unfortunately, we just haven't had a good relationship in years.
And obviously, this didn't help that.
Yeah, no, I mean, like I said, I want to just move on with my life because...
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're going to get that opportunity right now.
Thank you.
Michelle, You know, this is very difficult for you to open up and talk about. I understand that. We all do. Is there anything you want to say that we haven't heard?
No, it's just unfortunate. It really is. It's just unfortunate that it came down to this for mistakes that I didn't make. That's all there is to it.
This is the end of it, you think,
Yes.
with him?
Well, hopefully not. But yes, I have a feeling this, like I told the judge, this is the straw that broke the camel's back.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Sorry for what you've been through.
Oh, that's okay. We're surviving.
What do you think, Harvey?
It was awfully brave of the daughter, Doug, to show up in court and tell the story. If you are abused, there are all sorts of places that you can get help now, and they're available online. You might even start with a low-cost or even free consultation by calling your Bar Association referral service.
This is the plaintiff, Vivian Smith. She says the defendant, her deceased son's fiance, refuses to return his Harley-Davidson motorcycle and Mustang to her. That's right. She rode the Harley to his funeral. She refuses to hand over the vehicles, and she's here suing this selfish, uncaring woman for the $5,000 she's owed. This is the defendant, Itita Williams. She says her fiance was accidentally killed by gunfire. They were together for 10 years and have a 6-year-old daughter together. She and the plaintiff always had a rocky relationship, and she can't believe this woman actually has the nerve to be suing her today. She refuses to turn over his ashes or the death certificate, and she doesn't owe this vicious woman a penny because both vehicles are in her name. She's accused of making Mom mad.
All parties, please raise your right hand. Be seated. Come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Thank you, Douglas. Okay. Ms. Smith and Ms. Williams, I am very sorry for your loss, first of all. When did this happen, the shooting?
July 7th,
2019?
July 6th, 2019, but it went into the 7th.
Were you present when it happened?
Yes, I was.
Can you give me a brief explanation of how he was shot? He was her son and your
my
fiance. Okay.
While intervening in an altercation, talking to the fellow with the gun, another guy came around and attempted to try to grab the gun.
And then the gun went off?
The gun went off. And
Who's the other guy who attempted to grab the gun? What's his relation to you?
no relationship to me.
Was this person dating your daughter?
No.
Okay.
The guy that's in jail for the shooting at the time, my daughter and him had just stopped dating.
Okay. And was he the one who had the gun?
Yes.
And he had the gun pointed at who? At your fiance?
No.
At someone else?
He had it in his hand when Darnell was speaking with him. And another person from
Is Darnell your fiance?
Yes.
Okay.
Another person from the party
Went to grab the
went
gun.
around them and tried to grab the gun. And then a scuffle broke out, and Darnell ended up getting shot in the heart. It blew his heart out.
Oh my goodness. All right. Now the person who was trying to intervene did not get in trouble.
No.
Because he was trying to save people's lives. It just turned out to be.
Right.
So the person who went to the party with the gun, did that person get charged
Yes.
with manslaughter?
Yes.
And did he get convicted?
Yes. He got sentenced on January 3rd to 7 years.
All right. Now you have a child with Darnell, right?
Yes.
How old is your child?
6.
All right. You are suing because, according to you, your son owned a 2008 Harley Davidson and a 1990 Mustang, and you feel that those things belong to you?
Yes.
How do you figure?
He's my son. They're not married. And that was just memories for me.
Right.
She wants to sell it.
Right. They're not married, so they may not belong to her, but there's a 6-year-old child involved. Why wouldn't they belong technically to her?
And he has an older son.
Well, did anybody go to probate? Did anybody go to court and say, we have an estate, the estate has 2 things, a Harley Davidson and a 1990 Mustang, and we have to determine who it belongs to? You didn't go to probate? You didn't go to probate?
I didn't have a chance to do anything. There were other things that Darnell had, 2 cars too, that she took, and she took one and she gave his daughter one. So basically, there was a lot of things that were given away that were not given to my daughter nor me.
You mean Darnell had other cars besides the vehicles we're talking about?
Right.
And who made the
that were driven there the day of the party, that were at her house during the time of the altercation, and she took them. And she drives one, and she gave the Infiniti to his older daughter.
Now, talk to me about the Mustang. Whose Mustang is that?
That's my Mustang that that I bought. Darnell helped me purchase it, and I have the title and the sale right here. The Mustang was never in Darnell's name, and I've never even taken the title to motor vehicles to get the title in my name.
How long ago did you buy it?
Since 2010.
Why haven't you changed it? So the prior owner still has it under their name?
With my name on the title.
You did nothing with the title. You're supposed to do that right away.
Right.
But have you driven it?
No, it's never been on the road.
In 10 years, it's never been driven?
It's an investment.
So it's been at my house.
Okay.
Yeah.
Where is it physically now?
In the shop where we had it towed to from her house. It was in the yard.
When did you decide to tow it? After she's dealing out the Infiniti and all that, or before that?
No, way before that. Way before any of this. It's been there, getting work done to it.
I don't think that Lori is going to be very appreciative that this 1990 Ford Mustang in question is still in her name. You know what you're supposed to do, right? You're supposed to have registered it. This is why if you ever sell a car, you need to make sure that nothing remains in your name. And every state has a different way for you to do it. You're not hostage to the person you sold the car to, but you really should follow up and find out if the person you sold the car to changed it out of your name. Because if there's a car accident, then you can get sued. So you want to keep the bill of sale to prove there was a sale. You want to keep something to prove there was a sale so you don't get sued. You want to make sure that it's no longer in your name. You want to turn in your plates and file whatever you have to file in your state to say I divested myself of the car. Wow. Yeah, what makes you, if this paperwork is to be believed, it is the bill of sale for this car, and it wasn't even in your son's name. What claim would you have to it?
I had it all them years in my yard.
Well, that doesn't matter. What does that matter? I was parked in my, so now I own it. All right, and now let's talk about the Harley Davidson. Do you have a title for that?
Yes, I do.
Now, this is a title that puts it in your name, correct?
Right.
Except for that this happened after the death, right?
The title was signed over to me in April.
Show me proof of that. Is that going to show me that the title was signed over to you in April?
I don't think so because
No, because what it's going to show me is that after the date of the death, you registered it in your name.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
That's the opposite of what you're saying.
Okay.
So if the title was signed over to you in April, who was it signed over to you in April by?
Darnell.
Okay, can you prove that? That's what I'm asking you to prove.
No.
Why would he sign it over to you in April?
Because at that time, April 27th, we were supposed to get married. We ended up having to push the date back because technically when he bought the bike, the money that he used for the bike was for our wedding. So I had been in his ear in reference to the money that he used on the bike for our wedding, and it was time to get rid of it because we booked the place, and because of that, he wasn't finished paying for the wedding. We needed to get rid of the bike to move forward to pay for the wedding to change to this April.
So according to you, he put it in your name?
Yeah, I wanted my money back.
Tell me how you got this title in your name. What did you present to the Department of Motor Vehicles?
The old title.
So you and I will both know when that actually, won't we see the date? Yeah, we'll see right here, October.
Well, I received it in October.
Say it again?
I received it in October.
All I have to do is get off the bench and find out when you applied for it.
Yeah, you can do that, but I received it in October.
And if I do that, am I going to find that it's after or before his death?
You're going to find out that it's after his death because that's when I took it. It was in our safe.
So you
right,
just
with the other
kept it around for all that time. Whoa, that's what you did with this one.
Actually, I didn't even keep it. He hid it. He had it hid. And then when I managed to get the safe open, there it was with some other belongings of his.
Because every state has certain requirements. I looked into the requirements in your state of New York where you have to show certain things to be able to put it in your name. Of course, anybody could just take a title and then just write Darnell's signature and then hand it over and then get it in their name. I'm not stupid. So I have no idea how this ended up in her name, but I do have a very clear idea of what the law is in this case. And here's what it is. I assume he died without a will because everyone's acting like he did.
Right.
Right.
He didn't have a will.
Right. So when someone, we call that dying intestate. When someone dies intestate, then the rules of the state automatically come into play about who gets what. You get nothing as the mother if he has kids. The kids get whatever it is. The kids end up splitting it. You get nothing as a fiance.
Right.
There's no provision for fiancés. Okay? What could have happened in this case is that as mom started dealing things out, you could have said, whoa, wait a second, and filed a probate case on behalf of your daughter. I imagine, I don't know, I imagine that did he leave a really big estate behind, or is it just the vehicles we're talking about?
I mean, he had dirt bike,
It's just vehicles.
Jewelry.
Did
and
he own
things
any
like
property?
That. No.
Okay. Did he have any cash?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. Jewelry?
Yeah, he has a necklace that she has.
Okay. Did you give it to her?
No, it was on him when he got shot. So when she got the property, she got the necklace.
Have you had a good relationship with her before this, or not really?
We did until June of 2014, and then we didn't, and then we were working on it, and then...
What happened on June of 2014?
Welcome back to the People's Court. The plaintiff's son was killed, and she's trying to get the plaintiff's Mustang and Harley back from the defendant, her fiance. But the defendant may have put the title in her name after his death. Family disputes, especially when involving the death of a loved one, always difficult. Let's go back into the courtroom.
My daughter got hurt at her house.
How?
And she conceived drugs in her system, and I got a hold that she lied about it, and it made me look at her different.
Wait. How old was your daughter at the time?
My daughter was 1 year old.
And how did she consume drugs?
Because her oldest granddaughter used a spoon that she told her not to use, and the spoon had PCP angel dust on it, and it put my daughter in the hospital. So because she lied to me and her relationship was not good. We were working on it, but it was hard for me to trust her because she lied to me, and I considered her to be my family.
Did it do any permanent damage to your daughter?
I mean, not that I can see,
Okay.
right now, she's still,
I'm so sorry.
we're grieving, but, her as a grandmother, she left me hanging. She never came back to the hospital. After that, she just don't treat my daughter right, She just, because she's affiliated with me and I stand a strong ground of what I want for my daughter and the aspects, she don't call my daughter, she don't involve herself, it's just like my daughter's by herself when my daughter is Darnell's blood legacy.
Did you want to respond to that?
Do you even let me see her?
What does that mean? Have you tried to and she won't let you?
Yeah, I work 18 hours a day from Monday to Friday. It's hard.
So you don't have time for her is what you're saying. I'm not sure
Not
what
like
you're saying.
that. I'll try on the weekends, but she don't let me see her.
The last time you saw my daughter was January 20th. She stayed the weekend with you. And then when you found out that I had the bike, you filed the papers in Patchogue on January 21st, and you never
Who
called
did she
back
think
you
had
or
the
your
bike?
family.
Wait, stop a second. Who did she think had the bike?
The guy that rode the bike to the funeral.
How did he get the bike? Where had the bike
was at
been?
my
The bike was at her house.
I always had it.
Yeah. You had it sometimes, and I also had it sometimes.
No.
It
Just
doesn't
like the
matter. We're done.
Infiniti
We're
in the
done.
car.
We're done. Let me tell you what you need to do. As for the Mustang, I'm ruling in your favor. The Mustang's out of it. As for the Harley Davidson, that's a little dicier because what should have happened is that this title should be in the name of the daughter, you as the guardian of the daughter. I don't see that happening. You say it didn't because he signed it over to you and you just had it lying around. I'm not sure I buy any of that, but none of that matters. If you want to contest that, you would have to go to probate court to contest that and lay a claim to it. And why would you when her daughter and the other child are the people who would have a right to it? It would be crazy on
I
your
wasn't
part.
trying to get rid of it. She's trying to sell it.
Yeah, she should sell it. She should sell it and make up for the deficit that's left behind
I was
because
left in a
her son
financial
was.
situation.
And where was that party?
At her house.
Tell me about, is this a party that, what was the party for?
They have this party every year. They have nice parties and stuff like that, but I didn't feel like the party should have happened that year because there was just an altercation at her house where the house was raided, and I begged Darnell not to have the party, but They wanted to have the party. She had just gotten out of jail, and there was money drugs. There was money that was used that he was supposed to help me with. Our cable and stuff was off, and he wanted to take the money and have the party, and then the party happened, and then I was left in an uproar with no money or anything that people gave her, cards and anything. She never offered me a dime for my daughter. She never called and said, do y'all need money to eat or anything out of any of the cards that were given.
Who had a fund? A golden
So
fund?
Can I ask you something?
Yes.
The cars that were driven and the things that were driven to the party that, I realize you're the mother, but she's not only the fiance, but the mother of his kid. How is it that didn't end up back in her hands instead of you giving it or selling it?
It was always at my house. There's other children too.
How many children are there?
There's 3, and she made sure that the other 2 were good. And basically, my daughter got left out because you don't have a relationship with me. You want to deal with the 6-year-old child when I'm the adult. You have to deal with me in reference to deal with the child. You didn't make it fair.
All right, we're done. As to the Mustang, I'm ruling in your favor. As to the Harley, I am dismissing it without prejudice to you bringing it up to probate court, none of which is going to happen over the Harley, only because the date of the issuance of the title in your name is past the date of the death. So I think if she wants to, research that and figure something out and file a probate case, and the other kids may have entitlement to a portion of it, I'm leaving that in probate's hands. Between you and me and a lamppost, I highly doubt there's going to be a probate case over that. All right? But because I don't see what would be your incentive for filing the probate case. It's not going to go to you. It's going to go to the children. Anyway. That's my verdict. Good luck, folks.
So, Ms. Smith, you heard the judge. If you want to go after that motorcycle, you got to go to probate court, okay?
Yes.
Think you'll do that? It's a lot of trouble.
Yes.
You think you will? And you may fail there, too.
Maybe.
Okay. All right. I hope you get a better relationship going with her.
Okay. Thank you.
Think you will?
Yes.
Yes?
Yeah.
Really? All right. Good luck to you. Okay, Ms. Williams. She seems to think maybe she'll have a better relationship with you in the future. Do you think so?
No.
No?
No, when you disrespect my child, you disrespect me. She has never respected the legacy, and my daughter is the blood legacy, and she will never.
So it's over.
It's over. Hear no evil, see no evil.
Thank you very much. You must sign some documents on your way out of the courtroom. Harvey?
Well, Doug, look, this is a probate case when it comes to the Harley, and that's why probate judges have exclusive jurisdiction to decide who gets what when it involves a will or the death of somebody and distributing property.
This is the plaintiff, Sherry Pitchford. She says the defendant is her middle daughter, and that selfish woman refuses to pay her back for a cell phone. Daughter or no daughter, she needs to be taught a lesson on how to pay back a loan. And if court is the only way to teach her that, then so be it. She's suing for $389.88, the amount of the loan. This is the defendant, Leslie Zimmerman. She says the phone was a guilt gift from her mother for all the terrible things she's done to her in her life. She doesn't owe her mother a thing. The woman's just mad she cut her out of her and her son's life, and she's not paying her a cent. She's accused of making Mom mad.
All parties, please raise your right hand. People's Court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Marilyn Milian presiding. Good morning.
Good morning to you.
Litigants have been sworn, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Pitchford, you are suing your daughter, Ms. Zimmerman, for $389 that you say she owes you on a telephone that she promised to repay. Talk to me. Tell me what happened.
Okay, on February 7th of 2021, Leslie and at the time her boyfriend Daniel was at our house having dinner, and she was complaining that she didn't have a phone and her phone wasn't any good and it was useless at the time. So I talked with my husband Russ, and we were sitting there and said, well, she's got to have a phone. The situation is with her being epileptic and her son being behaviorally challenged, we knew the phone was crucial for her. So I asked him, and we both sat and just agreed that, yes, we'll go ahead and put her on our plan, our phone plan, provided that she pays for the phone.
Okay, what phone did she get?
I believe it's like a Samsung 20 or 21, something like that.
And it cost how much?
Like the total cost was $1,196.84.
Okay, who's your carrier?
Verizon.
How much was Verizon charging a month for the phone? Because I presume
Just for the phone, but not for the plan.
Not for the plan or the usage, just for the phone.
Just for the phone. The total was $32.50 every month.
Okay, and you had told her to pay
$30 a month.
And she didn't have to pay for the usage? You were paying for that?
We were paying for the usage.
Okay, and was any of this in writing, or no, it's my daughter?
It was verbal, and
Okay.
I didn't think about putting it in writing, but because it was my daughter, it is my
No,
daughter.
I know. People say that all the time, and I always say to them, who is it you really don't want to have the problem with? It's your loved ones. That's who you don't want a misunderstanding with.
Right.
So if it feels creepy to write a promissory note, then send each other an email so there's utterly no confusion on who's paying for what until when.
Right.
Because that's the one person you don't want to alienate is your loved one, right? But anyway, so what happens?
Well, at first, things were going okay. You know, we on February 9th, we went and got her a phone at the Verizon store, and she agreed. We even stood there, her and her boyfriend at the time, and I, all three. You can handle $30 a month to pay back the phone. Yep, not a problem. I looked at Dan and her boyfriend at the time, Dan, and he was kind of helping her with bills and whatever, I don't know. But he says, yeah, she should be able to handle that, no problem.
Okay. So then what happens? Because I find myself here listening to this. So what happens? Does she handle it with no problem until one day she doesn't?
She was handling it, but it's like some months she was paying and other months she was double paying because she wasn't paying the month previous.
Okay.
And then...
But it's not a big deal until it's a big deal. What happened to make it a big deal?
Okay. In August, late August, she still hadn't paid anything for August yet. So I was rather confused, but then when there was like a county fair going on and some other stuff, apparently she had gone to the fair and taken her son, and her son was misbehaving, and she called me in a frantic rage. You need to come get him. I can't take this anymore. I can't do this anymore. You need to come and get him now.
What's his issue?
He's got behavioral issues.
What does that mean, behavioral issues?
My son is autistic, has
Okay.
ADHD,
Okay.
and him and I both have PTSD from previous physical trauma.
Okay, how old is your son?
He's 12 now, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, so she calls you, and according to you, she calls you and she says you need to take it. Do you have other children or no?
No, Your Honor,
Okay,
he's just
so
my only one.
and you say,
I told her, I said, well, what's going on? She goes, well, I just called you and I realized that you can't help me anyways, and then hung up. And I was like, that's kind of odd. I mean, I didn't know what was going on, so I called her back and I said, look, what's going on? I just need you to come and get him. He's misbehaving. He's trying to crawl out of the car. While I'm trying to move the car, and he's trying to hit me and everything else. I said, look, then call the cops. They're going to get to you a lot faster than I will. And next thing I know, she hung up on me.
okay.
So I was like, you know what? Is this really worth this? All of this
is what really worth
like
it?
all the stress of getting called for the son that I thought she was doing a decent job with and not having any problems. But now all of a sudden I'm getting phone call after phone call after phone call. You got to come get him. You got to take him. It's I need your help. I need you to take him. I figured she's an adult. She had the child. She ought to be able to adult and take care of him. So my husband then, he was sitting right beside me at the time, and he looks at me and goes, did she pay for the phone this month? I said, no. And he says, maybe we ought to think about pursuing this a little further.
Okay. You tell her you've got to pay the whole phone up front because you missed this payment. But that actually happened after she posted something on social media. What did she post on social media that made you upset?
She apparently posted a false allegation that I called and talked to her after the phone was already turned off. And I supposedly accused her of, I supposedly said, that because she's tried to commit suicide in the past, next time maybe she ought to do a better job.
Wait, so she put on social media that you had said that to her?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have that? Because I didn't read that in the evidence.
It's not. I couldn't find it in the text, in the postings.
Okay.
But I know that people said that that's what they've read. I mean,
other people.
Yeah.
Okay, but you never read it.
No, because she blocked me before I could.
Okay. How do you communicate with her and tell her I'm canceling the phone, I'm shutting off the phone or whatever?
On the following Monday, I had called Verizon and said, could you shut down the phone?
Okay, so temporarily, right?
Temporarily.
Right. And then what happens?
They said, well, we can shut it down, but in 2-3 months, it's going to get turned back on irregardless because you haven't paid off the phone. Okay, how much is owed yet on the phone? And that's when they said $389.88 has to be paid before the phone could be completely shut down. And that's when she contacted me the day after that, was on a Tuesday.
So you contact your mom and you tell her, please, I need a phone. I need to be able to talk to my son at lunchtime. That's what calms him down for the afternoon. How are you communicating with your mom?
We were communicating through Facebook Messenger, Your Honor, and text messages, which I do have available.
Okay, and so what were you saying to her and what was her response?
I asked to, can I please have the phone? I said, I get paid tomorrow, please. Will you just give me the info so I can leave you alone?
But why would you need the info? What happened what happened? What really happened? What is this really about? Because I don't think it's about the $389 for the Verizon phone. I think it's about something else. So what was it that you posted about your mother that made her,
I posted on my private profile on Facebook. I was venting to my friends and family that I connect with online there. I'm sorry, Your Honor. I posted on there that I decided to cut my mom off from myself and my son because of just a lot of toxic issues that's happened in the past.
Like what?
My mother placed me in a psychiatric center when I was 11 years old. I've been cut off from friends and family before from her. I'm just now repairing the relationship I had with my father because since we were children, she's alienated me and my sisters from my father. And lots of lies, gaslighting behaviors. As a behavioral therapist for kids with autism and seeing the things that they go through, and now as an adult with autism.
Do you have autism?
I do, Your Honor.
When you say she placed you in a psychiatric ward for how long?
I'm not sure about how I know it was past, it was a month at least. I'm not sure how long. I have epilepsy. My memory is very hazy unless I write things down. I base a lot of my memory off of friends and family and what I've written down in personal journals over the years.
Okay. Have you had a difficult relationship with your mother all of your life?
Yes, Your Honor. Grew up autistic, didn't know I was autistic, so if I misbehaved, it was a lot of deal with it. And I'm the difficult child. My older sister is praised a lot. My younger sister has physical disabilities as well. So I'm the middle child, and it was a lot of high tension growing up. I moved out when I just turned 18, and I've tried the best I could for my son. I had my son when I was 17.
You had your son when you were 17?
I got pregnant with my son when I was 17. I had him when I was just barely 18, Your Honor. There wasn't a choice in the matter. I had to.
What do you mean by that?
There was no talk about adoption, abortion. It was, you're having this child, you're sticking with this man.
Is this the man she was referring to earlier?
No, Your Honor.
Okay.
It was an adult.
When you say it was an adult, what do you mean?
He was in his 20s.
And you were 17?
Yes,
When you
Your
say
Honor.
in his 20s, what do you mean?
He was 22, 23.
Okay.
And my mother was aware of it, so it was just, you have to deal with this, you have to keep going. And I won't lie, there was a little bit resentment growing up, but I thought as being adults now, our relationship would be okay.
Tell me about the phone and how the phone came about.
The phone came about, my mother purchased the phone at the end of February in 2021. It was apology for lying. My sister called child services on me for, I posted online, finally I was proud of the fact that I am openly gay. And my family, I don't know if they just disapproved or what it was, my sister called child services on me for false claims. I asked my mother if she had...
What was, okay, I have...
The false claim, I'm sorry.
Go ahead, yeah, what was the false claim?
The false claim was sexual abuse and neglect for my son.
Claiming that somebody was sexually abusing your son?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and how do you know it was your sister who did that?
The claims were very specific, involving my nephew and things that only my mother and my sister would hear, because I trusted my mother to watch my son sometimes on the weekends when I would work. I worked 3 jobs, Your Honor. Okay.
So what happened with those allegations?
Nothing came of them, Your Honor. They were unsubstantiated. Child services came out.
Why would your mother then buy you a guilt gift of a phone?
She broke down crying and said, "You're right, I'm sorry. I came between you and your sister. I'm sorry, let me give you this phone. I know your phone isn't the best," which my phone was working. It wasn't the best, but it was.
So what was
fine.
the $30 that you were paying a month?
To keep the phone, I was under my knowledge that it was to keep the phone on her service plan, the $30.
Do you have a bill for your phone? Yeah, let's see that.
The circled amount is the total amount of the phone. And if you look there, it should say February 9th is when it was purchased.
No, I wanted an actual phone bill.
Oh, I don't get an actual phone bill. Everything's on.
Where do you get it? Do you get it by email or
get it
something?
I get
Yeah,
it
look
through-
it up there a second. I want to see the phone bill.
I have printed out the Venmo receipts for every.
Right, I understand. So I guess what you're saying is my $30 is for usage, not for phone. She's saying your $30 is for phone, not for usage. So I'm interested in seeing what usage costs versus phone, because I know that on my accounts it's sounding like phone. You know, whenever I purchase a phone for one of my posse, there's that, you know, interest-free $30 a month or $25 a month, whatever it is, charge instead of paying whack. You know,
And if it was more than $30, I verbalized I was available to pay that more
that's
than
the
30.
least of it. I need to figure out if you owe the $389 or not, because she turned it off. That's where this comes in. And I know that none of this is about the $389.
Not at all.
So you vented to your friends and family, and it got to your mother, right? How old are you?
I'm 31, Your Honor.
Yeah. You vented to your friends and family. Did you know that it would get to your mother because of the certain friends and family who you were venting to?
No, Your Honor, but after literally posting it and within minutes being able to see who viewed it, I was very able to quickly determine who sent the information to my mother.
Who was it, do you think?
It was one of her karate teachers or students.
Yeah, a friend of hers that's on your private list. I mean,
yes. So that was very easy to delete.
Well, of course it's easy. I mean, and how many people are on your, quote, private list?
On my private list, there's only 200.
Only 200. That was her response. You heard it, right? Only 200.
Only 200.
You are part of that generation that grew up with a social media support system. I have a 26-year-old daughter. She also grew up that way. And it's odd to the rest of us.
Absolutely.
Right? Because the rest of us who didn't grow up getting our affirmation through social media It's as though you went to the highest mountaintop and yelled it in a crowd because there's 200 people in that list. In your mind, it's your support system, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
You were feeling like garbage. You wrote out whatever you wrote out. And then people responded at giving you like positive affirmation about, you know, you're doing the right thing, cut out the negativity in your life, and you're doing a great job with your kid. You know, the comments are what you live for when you're distressed. It's like having a positive intervention where everybody's hugging. They're giving you virtual hugs, and
sometimes it's needed.
I know. I'm glad I don't have anything to do with that, but I totally understand it. She does not understand it, though. In her mind, what this is you shouting it from a mountaintop to people who she works with and knows, and saying, you know, she's never there for me, or whatever it is that you said. According to her, you said many more vicious things that she didn't see with her own eyes, but people told her. What kinds of things had you posted about her that could lead to this breakup in this mother-daughter relationship?
The only thing that was posted on that status that I think that she is embarrassed about is the voicemail that was left on my phone at one point that her just kind of ranting, like, if you don't want a kid, you can take him to the police, you can take him to foster care, don't call me unless you need to take him to foster care. And the voicemail said that, you know, as many times as you try to kill yourself, if you're gonna try to kill yourself, do it the right way.
You have an actual voicemail where she's saying all this?
I did, Your Honor.
Is that still available?
I have since deleted it. My therapist, I'm in PTSD therapy. My therapist said it is not good to keep this.
Do you happen to have, what are you showing me now?
These are text messages, Your Honor.
Let me see those.
Yeah, I have the same ones.
All right, sometime, I guess there's phone calls, because then September 7th, I won't bother you anymore for help, whatever.
That was the incident, that was the day of the fair incident,
Real
Your Honor.
mature, ditto. And she responds, well, I'm not the one that blamed her mother for getting pregnant and having a child. If you didn't want, then you should have thought about that before you allowed a pedophile to get you pregnant. You know damn well I have helped you nearly every time you've asked for it. You respond to her, when you force a teenager to carry a pregnancy, refusing abortion or adoption talks, and promise her that you're going to help raise a child, but you break that promise, then yeah, you're going to get blamed. Whether you like to admit it or not, you set me up for failure in this life. I'm sorry I wasn't the perfect daughter that you wanted. And you tell your daughter not to contact you unless she's paying you for the phone, or if she has to send to foster care. When you contact, what are you so mad about? Like, because there's a dynamic in a mother-daughter relationship. I don't care if she's 31. I know the dynamic because I have 3 daughters.
Right.
And the dynamic is you're always a parent and they're always a child.
Right.
Even when they're 60, they're still a child.
I agree.
I know that sometimes we get frustrated with them and that we feel like we're, not being given a fair shake, but you still always have to be the adult and the parent. And a lot of your talk here doesn't sound very adultish. So what happened to cause this?
It was kind of a bantering. I mean, she would take pot shots at me, and so I felt like I had to take pot shots back, and I shouldn't have. And I know that now. To be honest, Your Honor, I'm sorry to interrupt, but for years, it's been, ever since she was 2, I've always had to focus more on her than the other two daughters.
I know, and she feels really guilty about that because apparently you've let her know it. In other words, she feels like she failed you as a daughter, right? So she, yes, you feel like she was a handful, and apparently that's been made very clear to her because she says, I'm not the perfect daughter, I'm the handful. The thing is that both of you get hurt by the other, and you feel it. Like I see litigants in front of me where they really don't care what the other one thinks. And that's not what I have here. Because as hurt as you are and as hurt as she is, and as much as you're finger pointing, I do think that there is love and pain there. But, you've got to understand that's your child and your burden. And you've got to understand, oh my God, are we still talking about why the baby was even born? The child's 12. Don't let him see this. Okay? The child's 12 now. I mean, we're past that. And you can't blame having him on her. And you can't blame her for asking for help, because that's really what they do all the time, right?
Yeah.
Daughters ask for help for the rest of your life. They're going to ask that. That's and then they're like appalled if you don't give it, but you shouldn't be appalled if she did. These are I am not a therapist. I'm just a judge. Okay? But these are the things that the two of you can work out with a competent professional who, if you care, and if you can get over the hurt that you felt with her bashing you, because you've got to understand they're just different than we are.
I know.
They really are. They post, that's their support group. They get this stuff. That's just how it's been. It's not their fault. You had her the year you had her. Right? And then she didn't ask to be born into this technology. This is how it works.
Right.
In their heads, they don't realize how they're bashing you. And you need to be a little more sensitive about that. When you need that support group, just talk to the 10 or 15 that you want to talk to, not 200, because that's not really support group. That's an announcement.
It's not the first time I've been bashed by her either, so
I know.
I'm just putting it out there.
I understand. And at the end of the day, as unfair as it sounds, we're the adults, right?
Yeah, I get it.
And you stood on, on $300 and turned off the phone of someone who needs a phone, who's an epileptic. You gave all those reasons why she has to have a phone. You turned off her phone and then got nasty about it because your feelings were hurt, which is a very impetuous thing to do as the adult parent. But I know you were hurt, but we're supposed to act, not act. Look, Leslie, you're wrong. That's not for usage. That's for the payment of the phone. I'm looking at the phone bills, and I know it's for the payment of the actual phone, the monthly charges for the payment of the actual phone. Okay. So you have the phone, correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm going to order you to pay the $389.88 that is left. That phone is yours. The financial ties between you should end. That resolves the case in front of us. Okay, it doesn't resolve, the real issue, which is something the two of you have to think about. Absolutely. And that is whether or not you want your child to have a relationship with her outside of taking care of him, a real relationship with the grandmother, and whether you want to have a relationship with your daughter and your grandson.
I do.
And if you do, then don't say anything in the hallway that's going to damage that, because that's been my experience.
Right. Yes.
Everyone is super contrite and cheery in here. Then they walk into the hallway and they say some horrible stuff. So think before you post, and think before you text, and think before you speak out in that hallway, right? Because there are bigger things than this case. Absolutely. And hopefully the two of you will find it in your souls to try to tap into that, and I'm rooting for you. Verdict for the plaintiff, $389.88.
So the plaintiff, the mother in this case, does indeed get the $389 she was seeking from her daughter. Her daughter, Ms. Zimmerman's on her way out of the courtroom. Let's see what she has to say. Leslie, tell me, what's your reaction to what just happened in the courtroom this morning?
I'm a little sad. It was high energy and a lot of emotions, but I agree with the judge's decision.
What do you think this court case and you being here in court against your mother is going to do for that relationship?
Probably not anything good, but it was a very therapeutic experience, and I'm ready to move on with the next chapter for mine and my son's life.
All right. Well, listen, good luck to you. Sorry it's such a sad situation.
Yep, and that's okay. Tomorrow's a new day.
Good luck to you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. So let's see what Ms. Pitchford, the plaintiff, the mother in this case, has to say. The judge gave both parties quite a lecture. Ms. Pitchford, what do you think about the judge had to say to you today in court?
Well, there's a lot of animosity between me and Leslie, but I'm taking the judge's words to heart, and I would love to be able to rebuild a relationship with her and my grandson, but she doesn't take my phone calls or my texts or anything anymore, so I guess, the ball's going to have to be in her court.
Well, it's such a sad situation. I'm sorry it turned out this way, but all I can say is good luck to you both. Okay?
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, Doug, look, the burden of proof is on the person who claims it's a gift. You have to prove based on evidence that it is not something that you had to pay for. The presumption is that if somebody will give you something, you're supposed to pay for it. You have to prove it was a gift.
So, Marilyn, who's more of a baby when they're sick?
You.
Me?
Yeah, you.
You gotta
don't
be
get
kidding
sick
me.
very often, but when you're sick, you curl up in a ball like you're about to die.
I am totally I'm tougher than a $2 steak.
You
You're gonna
say
tell me
that. You say that a lot,
come on.
but you.
Look, when we went to the emergency room a couple years ago, I waved off the Novocaine when they were putting staples in my head. I said, just put them in, doc.
You have a very, do they call it a high pain threshold when you can stand a lot? Yeah, you always skip the no. Just staple my head right there. Right. But then you're a baby at home and who needs to be taken care of.
Maybe only around you. Because I know you will take care of
right.
Right.
I don't think I'm a baby.
I wouldn't say you are.
I think you got a little annoyed at all the everything you had to fetch for me while the foot was broken.
I'm still annoyed. That's still going on. The annoyance isn't over yet.
You know, if I got to walk all the way upstairs to get something, like, John, will you go upstairs and get me? And you're like, ugh.
Why can't you just crawl up the stairs on your butt?